How's it going, guys? I'm Connor from Running Warehouse. Today I'm here with Kurt Stockbridge. He's the man giving the people what they want and really the brains behind some of your favorite Skechers running shoes. Now, looking into 2021, there's a lot of amazing options and really some pretty new updates in the daily training lineup. Now, we talked about some of the speed shoes, but today is all about daily trainers. First on up, can you tell us what is going to distinguish a daily trainer from a speed shoe in the Skechers line?
Yeah, for us, for training, we approach it, we know runners are running long miles, they want to be protected. So we do a couple things with our training silo that we don't do with the speed, or a little bit different approach. The first thing we do is go right to the hyperburst. We make this actually a little bit softer. So not quite as a fast response as in the speed silo as you'd expect. We also give a little bit more cushioning. So instead of a 4mm offset in the speed silo across the line, in the training we give you 6. So a couple more millimeters makes a difference, more protection for the long haul. The other thing we'll always do on our training shoes is try to make it more stable. I'm going to get into a little bit more of that detail, but you can always expect a little bit wider footprint with one of our training shoes. And those are like the key things that make a training shoe for us.
Perfect. Well, we've got two of the newest offerings here. We've got the Maxroad 5 and the Go Run Ride 9. Now, both of these shoes offer a high level of cushioning, but they are going to have a little bit different underfoot experience. Let's start on off with the Maxroad 5. Tell us what's going to be different from the last version. I know the midsole has a pretty big change.
Yeah, well, so this sole is nice and thick, maximum cushioning. We've decoupled it though to give you that flexibility. Runners love that. The only downside of that is for some runners it might be just a little unstable. So we decided to take our carbon fiber infused plate and we added it to this. I'm going to show you how we do that. This is our traditional carbon fiber plate, which you saw in the speed line, right? The nice thing is we can, just like hyperburst, we can tune this. We can take this sidewall and actually lower it and invert it to give you kind of a very benign plate. There's not a lot of sidewall, so it's stiff but not too stiff. We added to this shoe. It just makes it feel a little more solid.
Well, perfect, Kurt. I'm glad to hear that a plate was added into this shoe. When I first saw it, I thought it might be the same as the last version, but I think that plate's going to add a little bit more rigidity and a little bit more of a highly efficient design that's just going to further create a really smooth on-foot experience. But that's not the only change in the shoe. We also have an all-new upper. Now I know the upper, and especially the Maxroad 4, was giving some people some fit issues. It got a little bit better in the next version, but now with the Maxroad 5, I think we have an even more dialed-in fit. Can you tell us about the upper?
Absolutely. I mean, this is what we focused on for this shoe. As you just pointed out, the 4 was a flat knit. It was a little bit heavy. Then we went with a mono mesh, which was very light and breathable, but maybe not as comfortable as it could have been. It was all about improving the comfort for the 5 here. And if you look at this, we've got an engineered warp knit mesh. It's very light, it's very breathable. You can see it's got a little stretch to it. It's really comfortable, and so we're really proud of that. We also added hot melt along the perimeter. So when you're high off the ground with a max cushioning shoe, it's always good to bring in some stability element in addition to the plate, which you pointed out. Those combinations with the mesh, great update.
I'm excited for this shoe. I think it's going to continue to be that highly cushioned daily trainer that you can just put through the miles. It'll feel soft, it'll feel plush, everything you need when you're going far. But let's move on over to the next big update. And I think this shoe definitely has even more changes visually and from a performance standpoint from its predecessor. We've got the Skechers Ride 9. Now, tell us what is going to be so special with this shoe and how is it going to differ from that last version?
Well, this shoe is a great entry point for somebody who wants to get into Skechers shoes. I would start here. I mean, if you're looking for like a high mileage training shoe, everyday trainer, this is a perfect place to start. This isn't, the profile is a little bit lower than a max cushioning shoe, obviously. It's got a nice wide base, so it's just really comfortable and stable. The upper is the same as the Maxroad 5. It's an engineered warp knit. We really like this mesh, obviously. It's really comfortable. And for this shoe, it's just all about everyday miles and being comfortable in them.
Well, when I first got this shoe on my feet, the first thing I noticed was that hyperburst cushioning. It has kind of that standard cushioning you'd expect from kind of that reliable daily trainer, but as you go through your foot strike, you notice that responsiveness of the hyperburst. Can you talk to us a little bit more about the hyperburst in this shoe?
Yeah, and it is the hyperburst, but it's also the system. You think about adding the hyperburst, super resilient, very lightweight foam. You combine that with, say, the hyper arc, the geometry. A lot of people call this a rocker bottom. It's more than that. Combine those features, you just feel effortless, right? And that's how you want to feel when you're doing long miles in the training shoe.
So hyperburst cushioning is really, in my opinion, the highlight of this shoe. As with a lot of Skechers shoes, it offers that unique feel. But let's move on down to the outsole. Can you talk to us a little bit more about the compound and maybe some of the flex screws that's going to distinguish this from the last version?
Yeah, you know, we're always trying to be lightest in class in everything that we do. The flex screws help with that, but it also decouples the sole. Everything we're hearing about the testing results of the shoe is it's a little more lively because of that. Decoupling the hyperburst midsole, a little bit lighter, more flexible upper, just makes for a more comfortable and it's just a little more lively, flexible shoe.
I'll agree. I mean, I've been testing this from when you sent me some early prototypes, and that was the first thing that I noticed when I got it on my foot. It feels like a standard daily trainer, but with just a little extra pop. It's a fun shoe to run in, fun shoe to get those daily miles, and it's become a staple in the lineup. But okay, so that was midsole and outsole. Let's finish this shoe off with the upper. Can you talk to us a little bit more in depth on what makes it so special?
Well, it's about holding you on the footbed, it's about being breathable, and it's about being comfortable. And that's where we've really advanced from. If you look at the flat knit that we used for the prior model and in the Ride 8, it was a little bit heavy and that actually weighed down the system a little bit. So all the feedback we get from collecting from runners and your customers, tell us, hey, that's an opportunity that we can improve. So that's what we really focused on, making it more comfortable and a little bit lighter. And this is coming in at 8.3 ounces, which is pretty light for a daily trainer. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's pretty common with Skechers shoes. You guys are always on top of the weight to cushioning ratios, but let's go a little bit further into what we're going to use these shoes for. I've already been testing both of these shoes out, and for me personally, the Maxroad 5 has kind of been my long run shoe. When I'm running long miles, I want the most amount of protection, and then the Go Run Ride 9 has kind of just been that shoe that I get in the daily miles. It's the workhorse. It's the shoe you kind of wear day in and day out, and you know what you're going to get. You're going to get just the right amount of cushioning with a little bit of pop. Would you say that that's kind of where both of these shoes fit in the line?
Yeah, Maxroad 5 was built for ultra runners, long distance miles, and the Ride 9's always been about just daily training miles for easy access. A lot of recreational runners like me love the shoe. That's what it's built for.
Perfect. Well, Kurt, you and your team did a fantastic job offering two very unique experiences that are going to be fantastic for all of your daily training needs. If you're looking to get either of these shoes on your feet, they're available now here at Running Warehouse.